We got all the hidden meanings behind Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us music videos. All the Easter eggs explained. Let's get it.
Kendrick's music video for
Hit
Not
that
Like...
thumbs up button. Y'all blew me away last time, so we gonna do it again. 10,000 thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up button. Wrong one built in one day either, so, holding it down.
Gus is full of layered
Helps
disses
the
towards
channel
Drake,
a lot.
like this scene of him with an owl in a cage, referencing Maya Angelou's I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, implying that Drake should stick to singing over rapping, with the owl representing Drake since it's OVO's logo, and also implying Drake should...
That's also, you missed that, a line by Drake where Drake says, Drake from himself says, he asked his dad said, Mike never tried to rap like Pac. Pac never tried to sing like Mike. That was my dad's words to me when I asked him how to make it in life. And I always said my mother gave the greatest advice. Yeah. So he even sort of referenced it. Now that's a super fire catch though off real.
that Drake should stick to singing over rapping, with the owl representing Drake since it's OVO's logo, and also implying Drake should be locked up for all the PDF file allegations that Kendrick talks about on the song. He's even playing hopscotch, a game that little girls play, in the scene where he says the A minor line, and dropping the video on the 4th of July, a day celebrating American independence, after doing the pop-out show on Juneteenth, proves that he planned the whole aftermath of the beef out. Continuing his point about Drake...
And y'all remember them narratives niggas was running on our boy Kenny like, Kendrick, you have 2 seconds to respond. I think that a lot of times people don't realize how beefs can shift a culture. So that comes from what Drake was able to do to Meek, Dropped out. I waited 4 days, nigga, where y'all at? I came here in the rave bump at AR rap. You look at like first week sales becoming the #1 thing that people are checking for, right? That really comes from that 50 Cent era, because that's what he was using to just insult people. They've always said, I've outsold you, you heard, like, niggas saying, like, but first week sales weren't such a #1 thing in, like, talking point in hip-hop until 50 said that. So I feel like all these narratives that a lot of people were pushing, and I did say, you can't wait all year, right? But, nigga, he got 5 plus another 5 in the tuck. He wasn't playing. Like, if you go and wait a minute, you better come back. And he came back with that Draco. What?
Being not like us, an outsider to American rap culture, something he puts on full display when he brings out all of LA to Compton to chant this diss with him throughout the video. It especially fits with him calling Drake a colonizer, since the 4th of July was when America got freed from being a British colony. Kendrick uses LA rapper and celebrity friends throughout his pop-out concert to show the heritage and history that he comes from, that Drake tries to imitate by associating with Atlanta artists, but just can't really replicate. And some of the stars that show...
And there is that authenticness. There's this element of the culture that sometimes is missing, especially in recent Drake. You know what I mean? I think Kendrick Lamar brought Drake back to a place of, this is going to sound nuts now, but like respectability musically, because Drake was on a drought, y'all. A lot of niggas like that project with him and 21 Savage, and I like Back Outside Boys and Jumbotron Pop and shit, but honestly, never mind the little, like, nigga, he done dropped 3 super ass solo projects. This was the first time Drake was rapping in the way when I was like, no, this might be one of the best rappers I've ever heard. Now he's rapping like that again. Only for this nigga to Kendrick to blow that candle out, because Kendrick put that PDF file on him. That jacket's dangerous, because if we were like locked up or something, you have to be on K-Pod. Nigga, you couldn't be walking a unit with the rest of us convicts. Nigga, you a freaky bull, or you can't be out here with us. So, or niggas gonna extort you or hit you with that little 2-hand touch. Or the other type of 2-hand touch. But that makes it hard to rock with Drake. That makes it like some of his lines, like high school pics, you was even bad then. That makes lines like that just like, and I love that. Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? Real niggas ain't gonna love that shit.
Showed up in the show, made an appearance in the video to double down on that point. From Mustard, who opened for him, to DeMar DeRozan, who he name dropped on the song since he went to go play for the Toronto Raptors, Drake's hometown team, but eventually came back home to the US and made an appearance on stage during the live performance.
And it's so hilarious. So I thought that, I'm just thinking, there's a bar in there, y'all didn't deserve DeMar, so he's coming back from Toronto to California. I guess I didn't even think about Sacramento's in California too. Though he's a king though. He's a king now. That nigga, and that is the most fire other than LeBron, the choice where it's like I'm gonna take my talents to South Beach. Nigga, this is the second best, and not like us. The video using Kendrick to debut you leaving? Oh yeah, you fired for that. Even though he was in Chicago, but he was talking about from the past. He ain't deserving.
Of Not Like Us. Tommy the Clown, who also performed a set before Mustard at the show, is a dancer raised in South Central LA who was legendary.
Oh, and go join the Patreon. Hold a real nigga down. I have the best vlog of all time. It's me and my brother Screwface Sean. We in there getting loose, fire seats and all that. But what I will say is, I don't know what that free tier on Patreon is, but I wouldn't join that because the content starts at the $10, $20, and $30 tiers. Let's go.
Inventing the form of dancing called clowning, a huge inspiration behind crumping. In response to the Rodney King riots in 1992, his movement was meant to be a healthy alternative to LA kids getting into drugs or crime. And those values reflect Kendrick's emphasis on art being a way to represent and heal communities rather than imitate
God damn, I didn't know the significance of this man. I did not know the significance of this man. And that's the thing. That's why I love hip hop. You know, like hip hop, like the world, is ever moving, and it's always happening, and it's happening in different places in different ways. And there's certain artists. There is an artist that is probably so hot on fire in Milwaukee that a nigga like me in Texas, I ain't never even heard of this nigga. And it's not no disrespect to him. The internet helps us bridge those gaps. But that's just how hip-hop is. And so you got to go do your history lessons, right? You always do. You always got to learn up on what's going on because there's so much. You'd be lying to say you knew everything. But when you showcase your history, when you put an OG who's very pivotal to how your hip was hopping, nigga, that's you doing the job, bridging another gap of generations and allowing us to learn. Because obviously it's Kendrick. I'm not probably going. I'm not going to be looking up this nigga before I was looking up Kendrick. I found Kendrick. Now I done learned this nigga really the OG. Now I gotta go look him up. You know what I mean?
He featured members of TDE and Black Hippie, from Schoolboy Q to J-Rock to Absol, Top Dog, Punch, and Muso. And the video is 5 minutes and 55 seconds long. We all know Kendrick is always really specific with his numbers, and throughout his seasons on Degrassi, Drake was always spotted wearing 555 Soul. He recreated this video of him doing push-ups in Compton from his burner Instagram.
That was a Degrassi diss? This nigga Kendrick is an evil villain. I want niggas to know that this isn't a normal man. This is an evil nigga.
Drake was always spotted wearing 555 Soul. He recreated this video of him doing push-ups in Compton from his burner Instagram page, which he also referenced in his video.
And I also wanted to let y'all niggas know. Didn't I tell you there's hella time? I told y'all for this. This nigga Kendrick is always doing prison push-ups. I'm like, nigga, you a killer. Because he beat them real killer. That's what, when they hit them. Nigga, come on, bro. Them niggas always pass you in the towel if you...
For N95, a scene that Drake made fun of with his drop and give me 50 hook on the diss push-up. Kendrick later flipped this diss against Drake on Meet the Gram, saying that he would be a better father to Adonis because he'd teach him to do push-ups and build discipline instead of taking Ozempic for weight loss. Even the fact that he did push-ups in public as a celebrity in a random park in Compton was a statement about how much his city loves him and how safe he is there, something that he's saying Drake will never have in a historical center of hip-hop like LA.
That nigga, come on, man. Come on. And the history of Compton, the history of it. I do say Drake does try to, like, make Canada sort of like a thing. Like, he'd be like the Views from the Six and shit like that. He does try to. And I think Canada, ironically enough, probably has more motion than they've had in a minute just as this world seeing them. But I wouldn't say it's for a positive light. Niggas don't really take Canada serious. I don't know why. And like you seen Rick Ross, he tried to go play with them niggas out there, and them boys put hands on them niggas. And that's the homie who had touched him. I said, wow. But I still do know how niggas think. There's a reason why Ross went to Canada with no security. Do you think Rick Ross would have tried what he did in Canada in Compton? At being Drake was for Compton. You think he would go try that shit in Compton? Nah. So I actually did sort of like how them Canadian niggas, you know, put hands and feet on his ass just because you shouldn't challenge people. Like, you shouldn't, like, walk up to somebody you don't know and go, you a punk. Because, boy, you gonna get away with that 2-3 times. Then you gonna catch that third nigga uppercut you in the throat. And you deserve it. You deserve it.
He also does exactly 17 push-ups. He won 17 Grammys. And he's also saying Drake doesn't want anything over 17. The pictures are off the wall in this room that has Grammys. And he's also saying Drake doesn't want anything over 17. The pictures are off the wall and do push-ups and build discipline instead of taking Ozempic for weight loss. Even the fact that he did push-ups in public as a celebrity in a random park in Compton was a statement about how much his city loves him and how safe he is there, something that he's saying Drake will never have in a historical center of hip-hop like LA. He also does exactly 17 push-ups. He won 17 Grammys, and he's also saying Drake doesn't want anything over 17. The pictures are off the wall in this room that has studio speakers, and it's references Drake saying he made direct references to some of Drake's disses.
Oh my, you know you're cooking when the music video has more so like I was saying, I feel like everybody was starting this fake narrative in hip hop. This is one thing as a culture we need to address. I'm tired of the ununiqueness because it causes historical like fallacy. So if, let's say a Charlemagne the God, right? Let's say he likes the song Family Matters. Right? And he says Family Matters is the second best diss track. That's his opinion. And in case of Big Dipper, I think Family Matters out of Drake's maybe his best, but I would put that at about third because you're not getting past Not Like Us and you're not getting past Euphoria, right? And then you might have a different kind of list. Let's all stick to our own list. Because what happens if you just stick to Charlemagne's list or if you just stick to my list? There might be some weird thing going, unless you do agree with me or you do agree with Charlemagne. But when we do that like group think and without any individuality, it just starts narratives. Because there's in no way, just break it down as a song, that Family Matters by Drake is better than Euphoria.
References Drake saying he made direct references to some of Drake's disses on Family Matters, specifically about him domestically abusing Whitney and Dave Free being the father of his son, with these scenes of posing and dancing with Whitney and his children, right when he says the Family Matters line. And the fact that Dave Free directed the video, Whitney's even wearing directly referencing these allegations, something that I don't really feel like she'd do if they were true. He references the vignette type shot in Family Matters with this scene, and has this guy behind him in a ski mask representing Drake from his Dark Lane demo tapes album cover.
See, I had mentioned that. Go check out my reaction if you haven't. I had mentioned that. I'm like, nigga, that's Drake. That's Drake. Then he gets snatched back.
Family Matters with this scene, and has this guy behind him in a ski mask representing Drake from his Dark Lane demo tapes album cover. In this scene, Drake is trying to catch up to Kendrick.
Hold on, what's this nigga's channel name? I got a shot. Pearl Fountain, bro. You are, bro. 10 out of 10 video. I can't even front, bro. Shit was, yeah, you did your thing, broski. Shout out to you. I love because you got to look at every type of content a little differently. There's gonna be like when you're doing a reaction, right? It's almost like more of a freestyle, opposed to videos like this. They get to being like written bars where you can you can analyze these things 13 times. You can watch other videos based on it to build more things. And I think both are so necessary. And I love this new generation of like younger YouTubers are coming in that lane of those like videos like this where you're damn. We got the hip hop fanatics that we always like to check out over here. Y'all fuck with them. They're so good. He's so good at what he's doing. I just want to shut that nigga out because that's his love.
Gets swept away right when he says the boogeyman line. And Kendrick is standing next to a guy with a Compton hat on, representing how him having his city by his side is why Drake will never catch up. He smacks the shit out of this owl pinata in some scenes, another reference to an activity little kids do at birthday parties, while also visually representing the beatdown that he's saying he gave Drake in this beef. And at the very beginning of the video, he gives us a snippet of a song with a Not Like Us type flow, potentially teasing either a remix or a preview of a song from his next album.
I don't think it's Not Like Us. I think it's how many. And I have another. Somebody sent me an Instagram DM, appreciate you, with something that I actually did miss for show. And I'll see if he says it. If he doesn't say it, I'll say it at the end of the video. But I don't think that was a Not Like Us remix. That's the how many stocks do I really got in stock? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. That was one of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s.
It also references Kamasi Washington, a saxophone player from LA who is featured on To Pimp a Butterfly, hinting that his next album might have some of the same jazz influences that this album was famous for. He also references The Blueprint by Jay-Z in a line about IP, or intellectual property, which is kind of a response to Drake saying that he had to drop and give his label 50%, implying that what he's trying to build with PG Lang, his own label, is going to give him more control over his own music, just like Jay-Z with Rockefeller Records. This video actually reminded me a lot of the video for Alright, with the huge crowds of Compton natives singing along to Kendrick.
Wow, is this the moment in Kendrick's like story arc sort of to like Hov, when Hov distanced himself from Dame Dash and it no longer looked as if it was like a business conglomerate of Rockefeller, and it started to just look like Hov being one of the best, if not the best business mind rap has ever seen. Obviously, never say nothing bad about Dame Dash legend, and I think some of his ideologies were just too advanced for their times. I also think he's not sociable in any way, and as a person who's had to learn to be more sociable, because especially coming from my old life where you were damn near taught to be unsociable, you don't want to be that approachable. So I don't want to hate on Dame, but what Jay-Z has done after Rockefeller and what Dame's done after Rockefeller, it'd be hard to compare the two. So, is this Kendrick's I'm becoming Rock Nation brunches, PG Lang brunches, obviously way less freak-offs than the last gen did?
And the music video for that also started with another song first. I don't know if this was a coincidence, but his fit looked mad similar to the guy from this viral video, who has a lot of the same hating energy as Kendrick on Euphoria. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk, I hate the way that you dress. Let me know if you thought this music video lived up to the hype. It got 5 million views in 4 hours, and it's looking like it might be Kendrick's biggest video of all time. And for more context on this song,
I have a question for y'all. Is this Kendrick Lamar's best song ever? I honestly think it is. I honestly think Not Like Us is Kendrick Lamar's best song ever. Also, what I was saying is on his jacket it said 8/8/24. So if you haven't heard that yet, Queso with the breaking news. Kendrick Lamar should be dropping January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Is August the 8th month? Yeah, August 8th. Let's see, like he said, those numbers be very, very intentional with Kendrick. This was a certified vibe check. Comes another reaction by Mariah Hairping. Music video by Mariah there. Pow, click on it, show me some love. You watch the video as long as you didn't hit that thumbs up button, you're a hoe. So stop being a hoe. Hit the thumbs up button. Go join that Patreon. KBD family, love y'all. Salute. I'm out of here.